What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house again. And you know what time it is? It's your weekly preview, your weekly update in the world of the Dallas Cowboys. And you really, in this world, don't know the world exists, but this world is we living in. It's cowboy time, baby. All right, man. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred experience. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. All right, go ahead and make a comment, hit the notification so you know when I drop videos. I drop videos for the Cowboys. I also got some NFL stuff that as a whole, league as a whole, pick'ems and stuff. I do all kind of stuff. Uncle Fred kind of got his hand in a lot of things in sports or whatever. So got a lot of things going on or whatever. So anyhow, the scene's gonna be tomorrow noon, MetLife Stadium. New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys coming off a win, yet very unspectacular win, an unsatisfying win, a head-scratching win over the Washington football team last Sunday, 27-20. A game in which the defense took over and the offense was kind of sort of in reverse from a good bit of the game. So we're going to this game. I guess let's just be honest, it's an overmatched opponent. I know it's a divisional rival. I know all that. I know they don't like the Cowboys. Cowboys don't like them either. Okay, let's get that out in the open. All right. We don't like each other. We've been playing each other for 30, 40 years, 50 years, or what have you, since 1960. That's when the Cowboys came to existence. Excuse me. And so there's a little, animosity there and whatever. So anyhow, we come to play. Cowboys are favored to win, I think, by 9.5, 10 points. It's going to be 41 degrees and mostly cloudy. So the weather is not going to be a condition. 40 degrees is not ideal, but it's decent football weather. At least it ain't like 20. Okay. And so, you always got to take those kind of things into account. So anyhow, what's on the line? Cowboys, if they win today or tomorrow, pretty much wrap up the NFC East with their 10th win. 10 wins are usually get you most of the divisions in the NFL. So and might if that locks up the division, also locks up a playoff berth. All right. So there's some big stakes, big stakes on the line. Okay. It's not a game we can mail in. Okay. It's a game we really need to concentrate to win because it's the games that you favored by a lot. You don't think a whole lot of the opponent. The opponent really ain't got a whole lot of firepower because Daniel Jones not playing. He's got a neck thing or whatever going on. Mike Glennon's going to play. Mike Glennon's not, journeyman quarterback. He's okay, and I think Slayton is sort of, maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. And I don't think Kadarius Toney is playing, and I mean they really kind of, not fielding a good football team. Okay. So they favored by 10. You're facing a team that on paper, really couldn't hold a candle to you. But those are the games, if you don't pay attention to stuff, if you don't go in with the right mindset, them the kind of teams that get you beat. That's the kind of stuff that gets you beat. Okay. So now, we're going to the thing what we've been hearing all week. With Dak Prescott's in a slump. And, let's just be honest. There's a couple things is going at this thing now. Couple things. Number one, really not liked his footwork and a lot of his, since mechanics since he's come back from the injury. Now, they had the one game against Atlanta when he played well, but come on, it's Atlanta, all right? Let's not over exaggerate the opponent here. Atlanta's not. I mean, I think they're 5-7 or 6-7 or something like that. They're okay, but they're not a team that you would measure against and say, "Oh man, we did good against them," and want to stick that feather in your cap. Let's not go there. But in the game before that, he was not good against the Broncos. Was not good against Kansas City. Missed a couple of throws early. Missed throws late. Against the Raiders, I mean, he made some good numbers. Missed Noah Brown on the fourth quarter on that drive in overtime, threw it at his feet. I mean, dude, that's a layup throw. You got to make that throw. Missed him on the goal line earlier in the fourth quarter. Gallup was wide open. He just, I don't know where he threw it to. He played against the Saints. They won the game, but they had 4 picks. Dak was, he's okay. I think he threw for 238 and was like 7 of 16 in the second half. Threw a bad pick that nobody was understanding where he was going with that. Then against Washington, I mean, he was okay early. Threw a bad pick in the first quarter. Overthrew CeeDee Lamb. I mean, like 8 yards over his head, 5 yards beyond him. I don't know where he was going with that. But he made enough plays to get us a couple field goals. Got a scoop and score from the defense. In the second half, we got a field goal and a short field fumble recovery. And we had 27-8 lead, and then Dak threw the most god-awfulest pick six I ever seen. I'm like, dude was just hiding underneath in the line. You see that all the time. You've got to plan for that. Are you not seeing the field? So he was like, I want to say 22 or 39 for like 211, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. It's just not good. Just not good enough. It's just not good enough. All right. So he's been in a slump, and then you got Jerry Jones talking, well, he's not playing well. And again, I don't like my owner talking. I just don't think that does nothing to help anything. I think the coaches, I think Kellen Moore, I think Mike McCarthy need to get with that and work with this stuff in-house. The owner don't need to be talking about that. I don't care what they're asking him. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. And my coaching staff and my quarterback, I'm confident they'll figure out what's going on. They'll get it back on track. In the comment. You start elaborating on things, I'm like, what are you doing? Where you going, Jerry? But that's Jerry. Those are the things when I talk about the minefields as a coach and as a player that you got to dodge and work around. When you play for the Cowboys and you play for Jerry Jones, that's what you got to do because he insists on being front and center, being out in front, okay? Talking. And really, he shouldn't, like I said, I like my owners seen, not heard. Okay. I don't want to hear from you. I want to see you in the press box, clapping your hands when we win it, high-fiving folks when we score, shaking the other owner's hands when they go before you go up into your owner's box. And that's all I want to see from him. And then write the checks. Whatever you do behind the scenes, fundraisers, it's good. I don't need you talking. But anyway, he's talking about the slump, and then, of course, Dak was like, it's a communication thing. And I'm like, dude, what do you mean communicate? Dude, y'all been in the same offense for 2 years. What communication? You're not throwing the ball well, and you're not seeing the ball. You're not seeing the field well. You're not making the proper reads. It's you. It's not communication. Communication would think like, well, the receivers is running the wrong route, like Jerry said last week. That's why I'm like, you causing ripples in the locker room. Just be quiet. Just say, hey, they'll figure it out. Dak is my guy. I trust him. They'll get it right. Move on. You start trying to delve into the, that he just don't. It's like the bull in the china shop. He just turning around. He ain't thinking he's doing nothing. He's knocking everything in the daggum thing. All the china on the floor, all the dishes and glassware is all on the ground, broke. And he like, did I do that? Yeah. When you run in your mouth, you just knocking everything over. So they talked about that all week. And I'm thinking, I'm hoping and praying, and I expect Dak to get his act together because I just think that's the kind of individual Dak Prescott is, and I think he'll get it together. Defense, I think Dan Quinn is becoming a mad scientist. I think he's sitting in that lab. Ooh, I want to put Micah in a blitz package over here, then drop Randy Gregory back in the pass coverage here to fool them, and I'm gonna send DeMarcus Lawrence here, and I'm gonna have Neville Gallimore do a twist and come around the outside and bam, hit the quarterback. I could see Dan Quinn coming up with cooking up all kind of stuff with this defense with the guys he got at his disposal now. He got all the guys at his disposal now. And it's even talk about Donovan Wilson coming back this week, maybe. And he got all these guys. He's a great guy in the free or strong safety. I think he's a strong safety. They got all those guys back in the different things. You can just pick and choose, come bring the blitz from this side and drop this side in the coverage. Bring the blitz from this side, drop that side in the coverage. You can do whatever you want, with these kind of guys. And Micah Parsons just going to do whatever he do. That boy, what he got, like 11 and a half sacks? Yeah. Hey, that's defensive player, rookie of the year right there. It might be DPOY. Now, I know he DPROY, DROY. He might be DPOY before it's all said and done. That boy ended up with about 15 sacks. What you gonna say? He gonna be defensive player of the year. He get about 15 sacks. He already almost 12. Is it out of the realm of possibility for him to get 3 more sacks in 4 more games? I think not. So you got all that going, and I think that, and I'm gonna give you the particulars here. Cowboys, even with some of the offensive things that they've had, still averaging 29.2 points per game, still averaging 409 yards a game, only giving up 22 points a game, so that's like a 7.1 per game margin, so they're beating teams by an average of a touchdown. Excuse me. They're giving up 361 yards a game, so that's about a 40, like a 48-yard difference. It's like a half a field or whatever. And they've committed like 18 turnovers, and the penalties. My gosh. 103 penalties. Giants only committed 70. Yeah, they can get better at that. Okay. Now, I did say something in the opening. I did say there's one thing that I said, the Dak coming back from the injury. The other thing, and I kind of got sidetracked, is I think when they started messing with the offensive line, that's when I think the continuity stopped. When they pulled Connor Williams, I know Connor Williams had 13 penalties. I know. I get it. Every time you look up, it's a holding penalty. It's a hands to the face. I know. I get it. Connor Williams is a dadgum good blocker, and Connor McGovern's not as good as him. Now, he ain't getting the penalties, but I've seen him getting stood up at the line of scrimmage that I didn't see that from Connor Williams. Okay? So, you got to weigh these things out, So, I say the Dak injury and the monkeying around with the offensive line, coupled with Lyle Collins coming back, and then them trying to force him into the lineup when I didn't think he deserved to be forced into the lineup. I think he deserved to sit his butt down and wait until, somebody get injured or something situation comes up. We'll find you a spot, but sit your butt down because it's your fault that you got out. You wasn't injured. You did it with your own foolishness. Okay. Getting yourself caught up in the I'm not even getting into that. But when they started fooling with that and moving guys around, and Terrence Steele been playing well all season, and then you're going to move him. You got continuity with Zach Martin because they're both on the right side. You're going to move him. And you ain't seen Lyle Collins but one game in 2 seasons. And you want to, Terrence Steele came in there. You ain't hear a drop. You ain't hear nothing because he was handling his business. He's blocking for the run, and nobody got past him and got to that. And they had continuity. Then here comes Lyle. We got to get Lyle Collins in here. Then let's move Connor McGovern in and move it. And ever since then, the offensive line is still trying to find its way. And so I think that may have something to do. Then another thing, the tight ends haven't been healthy. I know Blake Jarwin went down, was it the Minnesota game? And then he went out, and then he ended up with COVID. I think he may be back this week, but I'm telling you, when the Cowboys utilize 12 personnel, and for all you guys that don't know, and I may be getting too technical, when you're talking about 12 personnel, you're talking about a lineup with 2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. That's the money formation right there. That's the formation that Dak Prescott masters and Kellen Moore masters. You can't stop them when they got Schultz and Jarwin and then you got CD and Amari, or CD and Michael, or Michael and CD, or whatever, Gallup and whatever, Michael Gallup. Any 2 of those 3 and those 2 tight ends with either Zeke or Pollard, whichever one. You can't stop that line because you can do anything you want with that. But then when Blake Jarwin got hurt and you was down to 1 tight end, then you was running 3 wides, which is fine, but the reads are different. It's a more complicated read scheme, and I think a lot of that, coupled with Dak being a not quite sure or confident in his, and then the offensive line kind of like being, where they're supposed to be. You mix all that together. That's why Dak in a slump, and got nothing to do with communication. It got to do with a lot of things kind of being done at the same time. And in fact, then he's just not seeing the field well either. So I look for him to come back this week. The Giants, they're averaging 17.8 points. That's pretty pathetic, actually. And they're giving up 23, so they're losing average of like 6 points a game. 6 points a game. And they're giving up 369 yards. They've committed 17 turnovers, and they've committed only 70 penalties. So the only thing they got us beat in is the penalties. We got to cut down on the penalties. Pass interference and the holdings. Cut down on the pass interference and the holdings. I think we can, and provided Dak plays competent, I like our chances, especially with how well our defense is playing. I like our chances against anybody, to be perfectly honest with you. Right. Dak is playing. He's throwing the ball all over the place, and he don't. And our defense is good, but you're not beating teams 6-0. Teams are gonna score. Okay, teams are gonna score, especially when you play in some of the upper echelon teams, the Arizonas, which we play in 2 weeks, or the Tampa Bays, which we'll see in the playoffs. We saw in the first game of the season, or Green Bay, or the Rams, which if the season ended right now, that's who we be playing first round at AT&T Stadium. The Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, and all the offensive weaponry they got. Okay. It means you're going to have to score at least 28 points to win that game, 27 to 28 points to win that game. And if Dak's not confident, the offensive line all over the place, and Zeke's not 100%, wearing a knee brace as he is now. Tony Pollard's coming back from plantar fasciitis, But the Giants, we playing them this week. We got RFK, Washington Football, the WFT. I'm sorry, RFK. That's what they used to play as RFK. I'm sorry. We play play the Washington football team next week at Dallas, at Arlington, I really should say. Then the very next week we get the Arizona Cardinals and then Philadelphia. Okay, that's the season. Okay, so right now, 12 o'clock tomorrow, where it's all gonna go down. And that was looking at a thing that was talking about the matchups that we're gonna look forward to. I thought it was kind of funny. They said Terrence Steele versus Aneez Alujari, who's a linebacker, and number 51. Terrence Steele is a good tackle. Left tackle is something else, but we know Tyron Smith is out. That's going to be interesting. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'm rolling Dak out to the right, just a little bit of sprint outs, get him away from that. And I think Lyle Collins is more secure and of course, because Zach Martin's over on the right side. So I'll move my pocket just a little bit, and that way I can get my reads and stuff and have a little extra time to make my throws and stuff like that. That's what I would do. Then they said Michael Parsons versus Mike Glennon. We know Mike Glennon not a mover. He don't move. Now, Danny Dimes. Now, what you worry about with Danny Dimes, if he do that little zone read, he take off, he get around the edge. That dude he's 4'5". Okay, that's really fast for a quarterback. Don't think that boy can't run. Don't let that paint job fool you. Boy can move. He got some pick him up, some put him downs. Okay, as a defender, you want him throwing it because it's a good chance he's gonna throw it to you as his own team. Okay, but if he get out in the open running, Well, you better get your Wheaties. I done seen him run 58, 60-yard runs, run past guys. He got that kind of ability. Throwing it, yeah, you got a good chance of catching his eye. You got a good chance of catching as we do. But luckily, he's not playing. We got Mike Leonard. He's going to be between the center and the guard, 7 yards back every play, not going to move. Michael Parsons coming, baby. If it ain't going to be Michael Parsons, it's going to be Gregory. If it ain't going to be Gregory, it's going to be D-Law. Somebody coming. And then if you ain't careful, they move the guys to the left or the right, then that bad boy Neville Gallimore going to blow the center up and push him back into the quarterback like he did last week with Tyler Heineke. And what's the dude's name? Larson. I still laugh about that. Push both of them together. Both of them laying on the turf, needing the cart to come get them. Both of them curled up on the carpet. Both of them. He done wrecked the whole offensive system. Neville Gallimore. I like that dude, man. Keep going at Sir Neville. So that's one of the matchups. And then Dak Prescott versus himself. If he can get out of his own way and they can fix some of these things, I look for Dak Prescott to have a good game. About 250, 270 yards and a couple of touchdowns. No interceptions. Big bucks, no whammies. I look for the defense to have at least 2 interceptions. I ain't going to be greedy. I'll take 4 sacks. I'll take 4 sacks. 2 interceptions. I think Trayvon gets 1. And I think Curse gets 1. Okay. Trayvon gets 1. Curse gets 1. And I like for Micah to get a sack. I look for Gregory to get a sack. And I look for Neville Gallimore to get a sack. And then, and maybe D-Law gets 1, or maybe Micah or one of the others get 2. But we're going to get 4. Okay. So, if you looked on the video and you see my predictions, I got Cowboys 31, New York Giants 10. Okay? That's what I look for. What to happen on tomorrow at about 12 o'clock. About 3 o'clock, I feel like it's all going to be said and done. Everything going to be done. All the feeds put up, animals put in the barn. 31-10. Dallas. 10-4. NFC East champs. Berth in the playoffs. All on the table. And I think we get that done tomorrow. Okay? Cowboys 31. New York Giants 10. Let's go, Cowboys. Let's get them. That's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Catch you guys after the game tomorrow. And I'm going to have my full cowboy regalia on. I'm going to be doing this right here because we're gonna get that thing done tomorrow. That's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Y'all be easy. Go back, sit back after church tomorrow. Watch the game. And then we're going to talk about it tomorrow evening. That's all I got. Uncle Fred signing off. Y'all be good.